Hi everyone, my name is Cheyenne and I'm from Pueblo Pintado. What's special about the Southwest is that we come from a very sacred territory. There are tribes, there are nations and pueblos that share this landscape, but also specifically here in Diné, there's so much medicine and power here that it's worth protecting. We've been here for centuries and it is seen as a portal, but also it's very important that we recognize what sacred means. We want to protect what is sacred. The puppies! Puppy! Yeah, the little one's name's Willard. Dan. Willard's like, no, I'm not down for your Instagram post.
So what's been happening since the last time I saw you?
Since the last time you saw me, the federal government, the Bureau of Land Management, has been fast-tracking the resource management plan. Of course, under Trump's administration, a lot of the Bureau of Land Management has been very anti-Indian. So any Indian policies, any policies that regard to federal Indian land has been pushed forward for oil and gas leasing without the consent of the communities who live in this area. And really, we're becoming a dump site for the oil and gas industry. So really, the Trump administration put a push on exploiting, so drilling more land, poisoning our land without being held accountable for cleaning it up. So if anything that we're experiencing is the neglect from EPA, the neglect from the state and the BLM, and also the Navajo Nation. We really see that the industries here and the state and the US really doesn't care about indigenous people. And now with COVID-19, our community is heavily impacted, and you can see now that we really don't have the resources to take care of ourselves when it comes to hospitals, when it comes to getting tested. There's definitely layers of ways that we're all battling for our health. And so out here, we don't know if we're gonna pass on from cancer or if COVID will get us first. It's difficult to not only battle COVID, but also battling the access to clean food or access to clean air, clean water. A lot of the water wells here are dry, or it could be contaminated or disagreements. And so hopefully these water containers do help. My great-grandmother still doesn't have access to clean water, and she lives right next to a pipeline. A pipeline is prioritized over her well-being. We're at a produced water or just an overall dump site within our community. A couple of state officials came but we were told then that there was a 500-gallon leak of produced water within our homelands. And if you look at the surrounding landscape, you see that our animals rely a lot on this land. You can see their foot tracks everywhere. I'm surprised that this waste pit actually has fences around it. I just feel like it's a slap in the face, to our language and to our culture. It can get really hopeless out here sometimes. And that's how it's always going to continue unless we all come together and stand in solidarity and figure out how are we going to protect our lands. It makes it even more urgent for our communities to organize. It makes it more urgent for young people to ask questions and to help lead this, because I'm not going to be young forever. And we're not going to have our elders for a long time. And I think we see that now, and it's important that we take care of them, but also ask them for guidance. What we can learn from Standing Rock is really pushing prayer, and doing everything with prayer. But I think that's something we got to do here, in just forming our own alliance and demanding to work with all of the tribes in solidarity that have connections to Chaco, and making sure that it's restored by these oil and gas industries. And if it's not, demanding it. These oil and gas workers, like some, are family members, but also some are very harmful. And within our community here, like, we do have high rates of violence. A lot of our relatives go missing or murdered here. And so with the high rates of leasing and oil and gas, like I guess the social impact isn't really a concern for the Bureau of Land Management or for the feds. It has been confirmed that trafficking is happening here, like along 550. Like, there are routes that exist within our area, like from 550 all the way up to Durango, and then like who knows where. Casinos is a hot spot. These truck stops are big hot spots, but also, like, when a sister goes missing, we hardly ever hear about it until like a week or a month after. We did have a relative who was found murdered on the side of the road, and no one knew about it. Like, no one is stepping forward about what happened to our relative. And so it gets really hard, it gets really scary. And one of the elders stated it really briefly about, like, how this is no man's land, how, like, nothing really ever comes to surface. And then if you see, like, a white girl go missing in Albuquerque, like, that's all over the news. Like, the Amber Alert system is just quick like that. And when it comes to us, like, we don't have that. We don't have that privilege for the public to be looking for Native people. But we are making them. Like, that's the thing, is, like, we're tired of it. And so we're doing something about it finally. Like, I've noticed is, like, you don't really need a degree to do this work. I just feel like it's instilled in, like, the Navajo way of living, and the elements and songs and ceremonies. I'm glad to be, like, living it, as far as, like, giving back to the community, so, and not forgetting about them, not forgetting them.